The great station Equinox Prime hung like a gem in the void, a colossal construct orbiting a dying star, home to the Galactic Concorde's most sacred assembly. Species from thousands of worlds filled its gleaming halls, tall, spindly beings with translucent skin, squat, armored crustaceans, multi-eyed intelligences floating in levitating orbs. Their voices echoed in an unintelligible harmony of dialects, their eyes all fixed on one new arrival: humanity. Admiral Helena Vance stepped from the Sovereign Dawn, Earth's flagship, her boots clicking firmly against the polished floor. She carried the weight of her entire species in her stance. The centuries of hardship, the wars on their blue planet, the sudden leap to the stars. Around her, the alien delegates whispered behind fan-like appendages and behind complex ocular clusters. They regarded humanity as a reckless upstart, an unpredictable spark in a galaxy long tempered by order. The Concorde's council chamber was a vast amphitheater, its walls alive with shifting holograms representing every member world. At its center floated the speaker of the Concorde, an enormous crystalline entity pulsing with alien light, its voice a chorus in multiple frequencies simultaneously. "Earth," it intoned, "you stand before us in the hope of peace. The galaxy extends its hand to you. Join us, and lay down your arms. Let your wars be ended." Helena's jaw tightened. She had spent years preparing for this moment, studying the Concorde's ways, their treaties and their traps. But peace, this peace, smelled like chains. "Your offer," Helena said, her voice steady, "asks us to surrender our sovereignty, to accept terms dictated by those who have judged us unworthy for centuries. We will not." A stunned silence fell. The crystalline speaker shimmered in confusion. One of the elder delegates, a massive tentacled being called Corin of the Vocari swarm, let out a low, clicking hiss. Such arrogance from a species so young. But Helena met the gaze of every alien present, her voice rising with conviction. "We will fight, not because we desire war, but because peace without dignity is surrender, and humanity does not surrender." A murmur rippled through the chamber, part outrage, part reluctant respect. Then the session was abruptly ended. Outside, the station's sensors picked up movement. A fleet, dark, fast, and unregistered, was approaching the Concorde. Whispers ran through the corridors. Was this the consequence of humanity's refusal, or was something far older stirring beyond the stars? Helena's eyes flicked to the stars visible through the viewport. A flicker of unease danced within her, something unseen, waiting in the void. The moment humanity refused peace was not just a declaration of defiance. It was the instant the galaxy felt the first tremors of a coming catastrophe, and humanity was caught in its center. The moment Admiral Helena Vance's words echoed through the Galactic Concorde, a shockwave rippled across the stars. On Earth, the response was electric. Millions flooded public forums and broadcasts, debating the defiance that had shocked an entire galaxy. In smoky bars and bustling streets, a single phrase burned in hearts and minds: "Peace without dignity is surrender." But the galaxy's reaction was far less unified. Within the Concorde-hallowed halls, alien delegates exchanged wary glances. Some whispered of humanity's arrogance, an impulsive species blinded by pride. Others, quietly fascinated, saw a spark they hadn't witnessed in centuries, a fierce will that might reshape the balance of power. In a shadowed chamber deep within the station Equinox Prime, Corin of the Vocari swarm paced with measured clicks. His multi-jointed limbs tapped rhythms on the floor. "They do not understand the forces they awaken," he murmured to his closest advisors. "The swarm will prepare." Far from the council chambers, in a dimly lit room on Mars, a young human hacker named Mara Voss stared at flickering codes streaming across her terminal. She worked for Earth's Orbital Intelligence Network, but what she uncovered defied every protocol. Encrypted transmissions from the Orellan Mindspire, the Galactic Collective Intelligence, suggesting the peace offer was a calculated trap. Her fingers flew over the keyboard as she traced the signals back through layers of concealment. The deeper she dug, the clearer it became. The Concord's peace talks masked a sinister agenda, a silent siege to subdue humanity before it could grow stronger. Suddenly, her screen flickered and went black. "They know we're listening," Mara whispered, heart pounding. Back on Earth, government officials held tense emergency sessions. The defiance had inspired pride but also fear. Some called for a second chance at diplomacy. Others demanded full mobilization. Helena Vance remained resolute, her voice steady over secure channels. "Our refusal is not reckless. It is necessary. We will not be pawns." Yet not all humanity stood united. Political factions argued bitterly, questioning if they were ready for war with an entire galaxy. The seeds of dissent threatened to fracture the fragile alliance that had brought them this far. Meanwhile, a new player entered the game. A rogue diplomat from the Zavari Expanse. A disgraced but brilliant alien scientist named Dr. Lara Anthil. She approached Earth's embassy with an offer of covert alliance, whispering of factions within the Concord opposed to the current regime. "We have enemies in common," she said, eyes gleaming with urgency. "The peace you refused is but the calm before a storm you cannot yet see." As tensions mounted, space itself seemed to shudder. Sensors aboard Equinox Prime detected a massive unidentified fleet moving through the outer rim, faster than any known Concord vessel, cloaked in dark energy. In the war rooms of Earth's command center, Helena's voice was calm but firm. "We prepare for all possibilities. The moment we refused peace is the moment the galaxy learned humanity will not be silent." Outside the vast windows, stars blinked cold and distant, indifferent to the fragile hopes of peace, but the void held its breath, waiting for the coming storm. The corridors of Equinox Prime buzzed with uneasy whispers, but in the shadows, darker things were at work. Within the maze-like underlevels of the station, a covered assassin prepared. Clad in adaptive camouflage, the figure moved silently, a blade humming with ancient energy strapped to their wrist. Their target, the highest-ranking human envoy aboard the station. The peace talks may have failed, but secrets were still valuable, and eliminating the human voice could tip the scales back toward chaos. Admiral Helena Vance remained unaware of the danger as she returned to her quarters, the weight of the galaxy's gaze heavy on her shoulders. For every ally gained, enemies lurked in the shadows. The political factions on Earth argued endlessly, but here in space, the stakes were far higher. Meanwhile, on the fringes of known space, the Vokari swarm moved with terrifying precision. Their insectoid warships swarmed asteroid belts and cloaked nebulae, preparing for war. The swarm had once been subdued by the Concord's combined might, but humanity's defiance rekindled old instincts: survival, dominance, and conquest. Far from the political machinations, Mara Voss, the hacker from Mars, found herself hunted. Her discovery about the peace offer being a trap had marked her. Twice she barely escaped capture by unknown agents. Now, desperate and alone, she sent a desperate encrypted message to Earth's command. The Orellan Mind Spire is more than a collective intelligence. It controls vast surveillance arrays and may be manipulating the entire Concord from behind the scenes. Back on Earth, the political turmoil boiled over. A faction led by Senator Callum Drax demanded immediate surrender to the Concord, fearing annihilation. His fiery speeches polarized the population. Opposing him, the veteran General Marissa Cade rallied support for continued resistance. Within this storm, a deeper threat emerged. One night, as Sovereign Dawn orbited Earth, sensors detected a breach in their communication network. An alien probe, unlike any technology seen before, slipped through the defensive grid and implanted itself in the ship's mainframe. Helena's cybernetic officer, Lieutenant Anders, isolated the breach but warned, "This is not reconnaissance. It's an infiltration, designed to learn everything we are." As the probe transmitted data back to an unknown recipient, the lines between friend and foe blurred. Meanwhile, in the dark expanse near the Black Halo, Ancient ruins lay hidden beneath layers of cosmic dust. Here, long-forgotten technology stirred, powered by a star collapsing into a black hole. A secret society of aliens, exiles from the Concord, watched silently, waiting for the right moment to rise and change the fate of the galaxy. Helena gathered her closest advisors. "This war will not be won by fleets alone," she said. "We must outthink them, outmaneuver them. We need allies who understand what we face, and weapons that shake the very fabric of space." As she spoke, the station's alert system blared. The assassin Mara had warned about was already inside Equinox Prime, and the first shot echoed through the marble halls. The moment of peace was gone. The war for survival had begun. The Martian research station Ares 7 was a beacon of human innovation. Its labs pushed the boundaries of quantum physics and propulsion technology. But tonight, that beacon was about to be snuffed out. Without warning, the station's sensors screamed alarms. Shadows darted across the red planet's thin atmosphere. Fast, precise strikes from a mercenary fleet operating under Concord colors. These attackers didn't come to negotiate or intimidate. They came to kill. Inside the command center, Commander Elias Chen stared at the incoming ships, his jaw clenched. Raise shields. Return fire. The station's defense turrets flared to life, lancing beams of energy into the attackers, but they were outnumbered and outgunned. A sudden explosion rocked the main research wing, sending sparks flying. The station's power faltered. Above Mars, the dreadnought Liberty's Edge lurked in orbit, its massive guns tracking the assault. Admiral Helena Vance's voice came over the comm. "Hold your ground, Commander. Reinforcements inbound." The Liberty's Edge tore through the mercenary fleet like a blade through silk, its energy cannons burning through enemy shields with devastating precision. But the attackers were cunning. Several slipped through the defensive lines and flowed into the void, vanishing before pursuit was possible. The price was high. Ares 7 was crippled, dozens of scientists lost in the sudden strike. Among the wreckage, a vital research project was destroyed, one that had the potential to revolutionize humanity's defense. But the true shock came hours later. As the Liberty's Edge recovered escape pods and survivors, its sensors picked up a faint transmission from one of the fleeing ships, encrypted and fragmented. Lieutenant Anders worked feverishly to decode it aboard the flagship. "What is it?" Helena demanded, her eyes narrowing. Anders' face was grim. "It's not just a battle report. It's a message from the Orellan Mind Spire, confirming they've initiated a covert operation called Project Twilight, a plan to use ancient cosmic technology hidden near the Black Halo." Helena's mind raced. The Black Halo was a region of space long rumored to contain relics from a forgotten civilization, a place thought too dangerous to explore. "The Concord is planning something beyond our understanding," she said. "This war isn't just about us. It's about controlling forces that could reshape the galaxy." Back on Mars, the surviving scientists huddled in the station's emergency shelters, their hope shaken but not broken. Mara Voss sent another encrypted warning. "We have less time than we thought. The enemy knows about the ancient weapon, and they intend to use it." Helena's resolve hardened. "We will find this weapon first. If the Concord gains it, it could mean the end of everything we'd fought for." As the Liberty's Edge set course for the Black Halo, Helena gazed out at the swirling abyss beyond. The galaxy's future hung in the balance, and humanity's defiance was about to be tested in ways no one could have imagined. The uneasy calm after the battle over Mars was shattered by a surge of diplomatic activity. Admiral Helena Vance knew humanity could not face the Concord alone. Yet, forming alliances with alien factions, many distrustful or outright hostile to humans, was a delicate, dangerous dance. In a concealed docking bay on the shadowed moon of Naxthar, Helena met with the Ruskari warlord, Brakthal. Towering and scarred, Brakthal's 4 arms rested on the curved hilt of his energy glaive. His eyes burned with fierce pride and a history of resisting the Concord's domination. "You humans are fools," Brackthal said, voice gravelly. But fools with teeth. That makes you dangerous and useful. Helena met his gaze steadily. We don't seek fools' glory. We seek survival. Join us, and we build something new. Brackthal nodded, a slow grin spreading. The swarm believes in numbers and overwhelming force. We believe in honor and fire. Together, we might just burn brighter. At the same time, deep within the exiled Zevari enclaves, Dr. Lara Anthil argued her case to her people. The Concord's leadership is fractured, riddled with corruption and fear. The ancient cosmic weapon near the Black Halo, if left unchecked, will annihilate us all. The Iron Accord must rise. Her conviction swayed many, but whispers of distrust still echoed. Zevari exile politics were labyrinthine, and old grudges ran deep. Yet even grudges could be set aside when extinction loomed. Back on Earth, Senator Callum Drax's faction intensified their push for surrender. Using every media outlet at his disposal, he painted the defiance as reckless and suicidal. Our people deserve peace, not annihilation, he argued in a fiery televised speech. But General Marissa Cade fired back with equal passion. We are not slaves to fear. Humanity has fought harder odds than this. Our strength is in our will. We will not bow. The political tension threatened to split Earth's fragile unity, but Helena's leadership held firm. Her command was clear. Mobilize the new alliances, strengthen Earth's fleets, and prepare for a war unlike any before. Meanwhile, deep in the void near the Black Halo, a secret fleet assembled. Among them were the exiled Zevari, the Raskari, and other rogue elements, disparate factions united by a single purpose: to face the rising threat and prevent the Concord from unleashing the ancient weapon's destructive power. Helena watched the star maps carefully. Every step forward was shadowed by betrayal, every alliance fragile as glass. Then came the news that shook the Accord. Senator Drax disappeared, vanished without a trace. Worse, critical fleet access codes he controlled were missing. Helena's voice was cold as steel. This is no coincidence. Someone inside our walls wants to see us broken. The moment of peace had shattered completely. The forging of alliances was only the first fire. The true test lay ahead, in shadows deeper than any star could pierce. The galaxy had changed. Skirmishes erupted like wildfire along the borders of Concord space, swift raids, brutal hit-and-run strikes, and ambushes where stealth drones danced like shadows between the stars. Humanity's new allies, fierce and unpredictable, turned the tides in unexpected ways. The Iron Accord's combined fleets struck with a precision and ferocity that unsettled even the most battle-hardened Concord commanders. On the bridge of the Sovereign Dawn, Admiral Helena Vance studied the tactical holograms flickering before her. The war had escalated beyond anything she'd anticipated. But the greatest danger was not just the enemy fleets. It was the strange, growing cosmic anomaly near the Black Halo. Space itself seemed to ripple and distort, sensors detecting fluctuations that defied known physics. Report, Helena ordered, voice steady. Lieutenant Anders's fingers flew across the console. Enemy fleet approaching from the Tassari system, Admiral. They're faster than any Concord ship we've tracked. This is likely a trap. Helena's gaze hardened. Prepare for battle. We cannot afford to lose this system. The Tassari system was strategically vital, a choke point near the edge of the Black Halo. Losing it meant exposing the fragile alliances to the enemy's wrath. The Iron Accord fleet, a patchwork of human and alien ships, converged in a tense formation. When the enemy struck, it was a chaotic storm of fire and energy. The Sovereign Dawn was targeted relentlessly, its shields flashing under heavy bombardment. But humanity's AI-driven drones, small, agile, and unpredictably cunning, darted through the chaos, sowing confusion among the enemy ranks. These drones were designed with a deep understanding of human psychology, anticipating enemy moves and adapting mid-battle. Drones are disrupting enemy formations, Anders reported, but their numbers keep growing. The battle teetered on a knife's edge. Just when hope seemed within reach, a sudden spatial distortion pulsed through the battlefield, the cosmic anomaly flaring unpredictably. "Hold formation," Helena shouted as space itself twisted around them. The warship's sensors went haywire, weapons misfiring, communication scrambling. In the midst of the chaos, an urgent message crackled through the comms. It was the commander of the Liberty's Edge, a ship caught on the anomaly's edge, its hull groaning under strain. "We're trapped. The spatial distortion is tearing us apart. Request immediate assistance." Helena's mind raced. To send a rescue team risked the entire fleet. To leave them meant losing a vital command ship and the battle's momentum. "We'll split the fleet," she decided, voice resolute. "Cover the rescue team with drone swarms and light fighters. The rest continue the assault." The Sovereign Dawn led the rescue effort, threading through the shifting chaos. As they reached the Liberty's Edge, Helena looked out the viewport at the swirling abyss of the anomaly, a cosmic storm bending time and space itself. If the Concorde weapon was hidden near this place, it was no coincidence. The fabric of the galaxy was unraveling, and the war was accelerating toward a devastating climax. The rescue operation was a desperate race against time. The Sovereign Dawn and its escort ships maneuvered through the chaotic distortions of the Black Halo's outer edge, where light twisted unnaturally and time seemed to slip between seconds and hours. Lieutenant Anders' voice was tight over the comms. "The Liberty's Edge's hull integrity is failing. We've got maybe minutes before the whole ship tears apart." Admiral Helena Vance clenched her jaw. "Send boarding teams. We're bringing them back." The boarding pods launched silently, darting through the turbulent void like fireflies in a storm. Inside the Liberty's Edge, the corridors were fractured by damage. Power flickering, alarms blaring, and the eerie glow of the anomaly seeping through cracked bulkheads. Captain Ren Ellerick, the ship's commander, led the last of the crew to the evacuation points. "We've held as long as we can," he said grimly through the comm. "This place, it's alive. The ship's systems keep fighting the anomaly, but we're losing ground." Helena's heart pounded. The Black Halo wasn't just a region of space. It was a living, breathing enigma. Ancient relics scattered in the depths here were more than tools. They were warnings. Once the Liberty's Edge crew was secured, Helena ordered the fleet to regroup. But the respite was brief. A transmission cut through the static, encrypted, urgent, and chilling. "This is Dr. Lara Anthil," the voice crackled. "The ancient weapon you seek is real. But it's more than a weapon. It's a cosmic engine capable of reshaping stars, or destroying them. The Concorde's leadership intends to use it as a last resort to maintain control. We must stop them, no matter the cost." The fleet's communications officer glanced at Helena. "We're picking up multiple fleets converging here. The Concorde is mobilizing everything they've got." Helena's eyes darkened. "Prepare for full engagement. We're not just fighting for survival anymore. We're fighting for the future of the galaxy." As the Sovereign Dawn led the charge deeper into the Black Halo, space twisted unnervingly around them. The stars appeared to bend, and strange pulses of energy shimmered across the fleet's sensors, signs that reality itself was warping. Suddenly, a colossal silhouette emerged from the darkness, an ancient construct, massive beyond comprehension, partially buried in a swirling nebula. It pulsed with energy, its surface etched with symbols older than any recorded civilization. "This must be the engine Dr. Anthil spoke of," Helena whispered. But before anyone could react, Concorde fleets erupted from the shadows, their ships swarming like a deadly storm. The battle for the Black Halo had begun. Helena took a deep breath. This was the moment humanity's defiance was truly tested. The fate of every star, every world, and every life in the galaxy hung in the balance. The battlefield of the Black Halo was unlike anything Admiral Helena Vance had ever witnessed. Ships clashed against the backdrop of swirling cosmic storms and ancient alien ruins, the very fabric of space trembling under the weight of war. Energy beams sliced through the darkness, lighting up the ghostly nebula with bursts of deadly light. The colossal cosmic engine loomed ahead, humming with terrible power. Its strange symbols pulsed in sync with the spatial distortions, a heartbeat threatening to tear the galaxy apart. Helena's fleet had to neutralize it before the Concorde could activate its destructive potential. "Focus fire on the engine's core," Helena commanded. "We need to disable it, not destroy it. If it goes critical, it could annihilate everything." The Sovereign Dawn spearheaded the assault, dodging torrents of plasma and ion blasts. Lieutenant Anders coordinated drone swarms that danced through enemy lines, disrupting Concorde formations and shielding human vessels. Suddenly, an explosion rocked the flagship. Alarms screamed as the hull buckled under a powerful strike. "Damage report," Helena barked. "Hull integrity down to 50%. Anders replied. "Shields fluctuating. We're holding, but only barely." Through the chaos, Dr. Lara Anthil's voice crackled over the comms. "Admiral, I'm initiating the shutdown sequence for the engine. It's unstable. If we don't disable the Concorde's control nodes scattered around the structure, it will detonate." Helena ordered boarding teams to deploy. Soldiers in powered armor leaped into the fray, fighting through Concorde defenders to reach the nodes. Explosions erupted in the engine's interior, fires blazing in the ancient corridors. On the bridge, Helena's eyes were fixed on the holographic display showing the node's status. One by one, the teams reported success, until only one remained. "We're losing them," Anders shouted. "Concorde reinforcements are swarming their position." Helena clenched her fists. "Send the drone swarm. Cover them at all costs." The drones surged forward, a metallic wave crashing against the enemy. The boarding team fought with desperate valor, finally reaching the last control node. With a final blast, the node was destroyed. "Shutdown sequence complete," Lara announced. "The engine is collapsing." A low rumble shook the entire battlefield as the cosmic engine began to implode, swallowing itself in a cascading cascade of energy. The spatial distortions rapidly faded, and the swirling nebula calmed. The Concorde fleets faltered, their command shattered by the loss of the weapon. Helena knew the war was far from over, but this victory was decisive. "Humanity refused peace," she said quietly, "not because we seek war, but because we believe in our right to stand free. Today, we prove that defiance can shape the stars." As the battered fleets regrouped, a new dawn broke across the galaxy. A dawn born from fire, courage, and unyielding hope. The moment humanity refused peace had sparked a catastrophe, but it also ignited a legacy, that even in the vast, indifferent void, the human spirit could shine brighter than any star.